Here we have a point that shows a few of the principles we have been talking about. Pat serving, and she hits a decent serve, pretty deep. Debbie returns it, and it's also a good deep return. It allows her time to get up to the kitchen line. Eileen is already at the kitchen line. So Pat should hit a third shot drop here, which she does. And Debbie has to volley the ball. It's below the net, so she can't attack it. She hits it, but it comes up a little bit high. And here, it should have been a put away for Pat. But BA's coming across, trying to hit it with her backhand, and ends up missing the ball. So here, this is where Pat, probably just to make it clear, should have called mine and taken that shot, because it would have been easier for her to put the ball away with her forehand instead of BA coming in here trying to put it away with her backhand. On this next point, BA is going to do a drop serve. The only problem is it's an illegal drop serve, because instead of dropping the ball, she tosses the ball up in the air and then it bounces. See right here, she tossed the ball up and then it came down. You're supposed to hold the ball stationary and then just release it. It's a good serve. That's looks like it's pretty deep to Eileen. Eileen hits a return that's too long, and BA wins the point. But the other team could have said that it was an illegal serve and demanded a replay. On this next point, you'll see that BA once again tosses the ball up instead of dropping the ball. She hits a good serve. Looks like it's fairly deep. Deb returns it well, really deep. Now you can see the ball is coming over towards BA, so she should be taking it with a forehand, but Pat's kind of crowding her in the middle, so Pat is taking the ball instead on her backhand, which would be a weaker shot. And indeed goes into the net. Okay, so there was a side out here, so now Eileen is serving the ball and hits a really nice serve. Look at how deep it is, very close to the baseline. Pat takes it on her backhand, returns the ball, and moves right up to the kitchen line. Deb hits the ball right at her, but Pat manages to hit a volley over to Eileen. Eileen is trying to hit a volley. However, the face of her paddle is open and facing up. So she ends up popping the ball up, which gives Pat a chance for an easy put away. And she does, right down the middle. So now we have Debbie hitting a drop serve, and I want you to watch how she drops her ball. She bounces it a couple times, which is fine, but now Watch the arm and hand that's holding the ball. She drops it down, raises it up slightly, and then she drops the hand down as she's letting the ball go. That's really probably not legal. It's because she didn't drop the ball out of her hand. She actually moved her arm down as she was dropping it. So someone could say that's a fault. So she hits an excellent serve deep into BA's backhand. BA returns the ball. Now look at how quickly Debbie got to the kitchen line. Plays it on a bounce. Blocks it back, but she hits it too close to Pat. And it's a bit high. So Pat comes across to hit a backhand right at Eileen. Eileen blocks the ball well, and it's coming back to BA. But look at where BA is. She's standing here in no man's land. So let's back this up here. So BA hits a good return and starts to move in, but then she sees Debbie about to hit the ball, so she stops. And now Pat's coming across to hit it. Right here, once she sees Pat is going to make a play on the ball, BA should have moved up to the kitchen line, but instead she only moves in another step or two. And now Eileen hits a ball that's kind of high. If BA had been at the kitchen line, she would have had an easy put away. But now she's got to play the ball in no man's land. She's letting it drop. Now she's moving it in. Oh, actually, sorry, take that back. Eileen did not hit the ball over the net, so they ended up losing the point. But still, BA should have gotten herself all the way to the kitchen line, because even though the ball went into the net, it could have been a dink shot over the net, and BA would have been too far away to get to it. Okay, on this next point, Pat serves. Nice, good deep serve to Eileen. Eileen returns it with a backhand, but it's a short ball and it's actually kind of high. So this could have been a ball that BA could have attacked with her forehand. However, I think she overran it a bit, and so the ball was a little bit behind her and she was too close to it, so she got jammed. You can see how her elbow is scrunched in close to her body and can't get any force behind the ball, so the ball goes into the net and they lose that particular rally. Okay, now we have BA serving the ball, and once again she's tossing the ball up before serving. It's a good serve to Deb. Deb hits a ball that goes sailing up and out of the court. Now, how did that happen? Well, let's take a closer look at it. Okay, so I think it's because her paddle face was pretty open, and so when she hit it, it just went straight up. So she just needed to keep the face of her paddle a little closed more or use less power. Okay, on this next point, BA serves. Eileen hits a ball that's a little bit short. And I watched the footwork that Pat uses here. She sees where the ball's going to bounce, so she moves to her left to give herself room to make a forehand swing. And it's actually a dink, a third shot drop. And she follows it by going up to the line. Now, BA also is moving up to the line, but she stopped short. She still has about 3 feet more that she could have gone. Meanwhile, Eileen is volleying the ball back to Pat, but she gets it too high, and Pat hits it right in between for a winner. Okay, here we have BA serving. Debbie's returning. And notice how Debbie hits the ball and moves immediately up to the kitchen line. That's very good. Pat sees the ball going to BA, so she moves up to the kitchen line. BA hits the ball, but instead of following her shot into the kitchen, towards the kitchen line, she stopped. As it happened, it was a good shot, and Debbie hits it into the net, and they win the point. So the main thing here is when you hit the ball, if you're not at the kitchen, hit the ball and keep moving, like Debbie did right here. Pat moving up, she's at the kitchen, but now if BA had just taken a step or two, she would have been at the kitchen and in a better position if Debbie was able to hit the ball back over the net. Okay, here we have Debbie serving. It's a good serve to Pat. Pat's returning. Now, if you watch Debbie, as the ball's coming to her, instead of taking it on her forehand, she kept moving to her right and made a backhand shot out of it. But now look what happened. Both Eileen and Deb are only a couple feet away from each other. So even if the ball was a good return, there's a lot of space to the right that was opened up because Deb hit a backhand instead of a forehand. So let me back it up again. Here, once Pat hits the ball, Deb should recognize, oh, if I just step to her left, in this case, if she stepped to the left, she would have been able to take a forehand on it. But instead, she stepped to the right and then was forced to hit a backhand. And as it turned out, she overhit it and it went wide.